Panther people, what's going on? I'm going to be delving into the comic community and just see how much of a beautiful place it is, or is it kind of ugly? What's going on? You're watching Panthers Post with Phil Perkins. Thanks for joining. Not much to talk about in terms of the Panthers team itself. No real news out there. Of course, the Baker Mayfield ghost is still upon us. Jimmy Garoppolo, he's floating in there as well. So until that happens, we're filling in that content with other stuff. But I'm telling you, when it does happen, if it does happen, there'll be a new video. The best thing about this YouTube community is that the conversation that happens once the video is already posted. So I'm going to be going through, just seeing what people have to say, both good and bad, and responding. And if you see that your response is in there and I respond to it, put it back out there in the comment verse, and then maybe I'll come right back and we'll discuss again. All right, this is Rawthetic 3 days ago, and this is after the latest video that you might want to check out, which Carolina Panthers should be worried after minicamp. He's like, I'm curious to how well Brandon, I'm assuming Smith, is going to do at the Sam position. I think this guy is going to be a pretty quick impact rookie. I was just listening to Move the Six podcast. If you're new to this community here, Panthers Post, I'm a big believer in Daniel Jeremiah and Bucky Brooks. I think they both worked in the league. Bucky Brooks played in the league. And so I listened to what they have to say. And in their one of their most recent podcasts, they were talking about how, rookie linebackers can have a pretty quick impact in their first couple years, especially in their rookie year. Just take a look at Micah Parsons with the Dallas Cowboys, and they're thinking guys like Devin Lloyd out of Utah, now playing in Jacksonville, can be an impact rookie. And I don't see any different with Brandon Smith. He has the intangibles. Like Brandon Lloyd was a smaller linebacker. Brandon Smith, big man. He's over 6'2", 6'3". He ran super duper fast. He's a rangy guy. I was saying previously in other videos that he can be an impact rookie on special teams. You can see him in there for, packages where he has to cover a tight end because of just his sheer size and athleticism and speed. And so I think that guy could be an impact rookie, 100%. Chris Wilson, Jimmy is a better fit. I need Corral to take over. Laugh my ass off. Jimmy is a better fit. If the Ben McAdoo's offense is a West Coast offense and Jimmy has kind of been in that Shanahan system, that is exactly that dink and dunk situation. Who better to dink and dunk to than to Christian McCaffrey and DJ Moore? So maybe, Jimmy is a good fit in that sense. Again, I'm not an X's and O's guy. Maybe in a locker room sense, you see a lot of guys stepping up for Jimmy Garoppolo, defending him, including Deebo Samuel, saying that he's a great leader out there. Even with a new rookie, the guy they drafted up for in Trey Lance, Jimmy Garoppolo always made himself available, unlike a Ryan Tannehill. Not saying it's part of the job description, but Jimmy's just that kind of guy. Maybe he understands that after being an understudy to Tom Brady. Supposedly supposed to be the heir apparent to him. Eventually they traded him away, obviously, but maybe he understands, what it's like to be a leader after, playing with the best quarterback of all time. So perhaps Jimmy is a better fit in terms on the field and most definitely in the locker room, because what we're seeing out of Baker Mayfield, not saying too many guys, but except I think I saw one offensive lineman defend Baker Mayfield. Besides that, especially in the skill position, which they kind of have to be bread and butter together, not a lot of guys stepping up to, take the defense and take the bullets for Baker. And in terms of Corral does seem like a guy, and I'm just basing on social media. It could all just be for show. But compared to a guy like, who we got in the building right now in Sam Darnold, I see Matt Corral championing his other former teammates, guys who play in the SEC, maybe guys who he, played in high school. I saw a picture with him and Cade Mays. They were hanging out together, not hanging out, but they were taking photos together for rookie headshots. He's prepping up and he's propping up his fellow other rookies with the Carolina Panthers. He just seems like a guy who's already, bringing donuts every day, not just on Fridays as a rookie. It just seems like that he's already building that trust with his teammates so that if and when the opportunity comes that he does come and start for Sam Darnold, which I personally think is the best football team building decision for this team, to not even try to mess with Jimmy or for Baker, but to have faith in the coaching staff, whatever you want to say with that. I'm talking about the offensive line staff and Ben McAdoo, that Matt Corral can come in maybe week 4 or 5, or being super duper safe week 14 with the bye week, then heading into Seattle, who's another team that is in need of a quarterback. So they could be kind of in the same, actually in a worse situation than the Panthers, to be honest. But I think Matt Corral is the guy to take the Panthers to that next level. Personally, I really do feel like that. I just think it's the safest bet in terms of financials and what he brings to the table. He has those intangible team building type stuff that Baker had in college. I don't know what's happened to Baker since he made it to the pros, but it just seems like Matt Corral is a people person. And so I feel like that's the right guy to lead a team that's, to be honest, kind of in the dumps. Walt G., who's a regular, how dope would it be if the whole helmet was an actual Panthers head with the mouth open and like the Panthers face was inside the Panthers mouth. Player's face was inside the Panthers mouth, behind the face mask, of course. Hashtag Panthers post. Dopest helmet in the NFL. All right. So it's kind of like a Voltron type situation. So you got the Panther head is the helmet. The teeth, if the face mask were white. So then you got the face. So you got the face, and then you got the grill is the teeth. And imagine you have the Dickerson grill, which I don't know if they still call it that, Eric Dickerson grill, the running backs have right here. So you got here and it lines up perfectly. That could be the teeth. So you got the profile of the eyes, the ears, and then the grill is the teeth. Or maybe it's silver, because we got to keep that silver maybe a little bit in the helmet. That would be actually pretty sweet. I'm actually very surprised at the Panthers, who they're not a legacy team. Let's be real. They're an expansion team. Not anymore. Like, obviously, they're building fan base. Look at Ike Ekwonu, who grew up, wanted to be a Carolina Panther. The fact that they're just holding on to this jersey and holding on to this helmet and not taking advantage of the rules the NFL is putting out there. You can change the helmet. Go wild with that second helmet. I don't know why they're not doing that. So I agree. I think that'd be cool. That'd be a different take on what I've been seeing so far. With just like a oversized Panthers logo. Or with a matte black helmet. But what if the whole helmet was the logo and the teeth is, I don't know grammar, it's Saturday, the grill itself? I think that'd be fire. Brad Holt, another regular. Last I heard, the Browns are willing to take on $9 million of Baker's salary and they don't want Darnold. Who wants Darnold? I don't know. I personally don't know who wants Sam Darnold right now. So $9 million. So they're both owed the exact same amount of money. If Baker Mayfield's with $18.5 million and they pay half of that, that's less than half if it's $9 million, then I still don't know if the Panthers do that, because now you're paying two quarterbacks a combined $27 million, and one of them you don't even want. So you got Baker and it doesn't make sense. I think it has to be a good amount, and then if they take more, maybe we send them a late round pick next year, 6th or 7th round. Not taking any of the first three. All right, Paul Mancini says Panthers will not add another QB, parentheses, Baker, Jimmy, until they can unload Darnold to another team. All right, so hypothetically speaking, this is two comments now about where Darnold could go. Who could pick up Sam Darnold? Who appreciates Sam Darnold? Oh, the first thing that comes to mind is Pete Carroll. So we just talked about before, the Seattle Seahawks are in need of a quarterback. They have Geno Smith, who was serviceable. They got the cat out of Denver, who I don't think, obviously, is the guy in any situation. But maybe Pete Carroll he's kind of California cool. Sam Darnold's very California cool. Maybe you can have a situation where Sam Darnold goes to the Seahawks, the Panthers get maybe one of the DBs that, see, their team that really doesn't have much. Who is Seattle Seahawks depth chart? Depth chart. Seattle Seahawks depth chart. I mean, you can send Sam Darnold to the Seahawks. And I'm just trying to think. I'm looking at like a second tier defensive player. So obviously not Jamal Adams. Ryan Neal, Marquise Blair, questionable. Justin Coleman, Alton Robinson, or maybe there's like a tight end, Noah Fant, they just picked up from Denver. Will Dissly, the guy gets hurt a lot. Or you know what? You got a Jacob Eason quarterback, so maybe they get a Geno Smith. They got Sam Darnold, Drew Lock. Send us Jacob Eason, who could kind of be a somewhat of a mentor to Matt Corral. No, then and then no. Maybe just another offensive lineman, someone that maybe has been with the team for a little bit, and then Scott Fitterer knows him from his time with Seattle. It's like, oh, this guy can develop under James Campy. Maybe. Yeah, that would be a team that maybe I could see taking up a Sam Darnold or fudge. Houston? Why not Houston? Hawkeye _26 said, you said it fine. Can't wait to see the boys in my hometown again. All right, that's when I said Wofford. It's Wofford. I said it right. All right, Spartanburg, South Carolina. All right, Rob Cedar. Oh, by the way, we're going to suck again. Hey, you know what? If that's the case, you know, I'm seeing a couple mock drafts now because I have no life where guys like CJ Stroud, Bryce Young, now I'm seeing the cat out of Miami and Kentucky not falling because they suck, but just got like guys like Will Anderson, and just for the teams that are in that situation, just aren't quarterback needy teams, that you see a CJ Stroud, Bryce Young, Will Levis, and Tyler Vanderbeek or whatever his name is. I haven't studied these guys yet. You know, falling to the Carolina Panthers. So, you know, you could go quickly if you want a quarterback. If Matt Corral just doesn't show that he can absorb it all and put it out on the field, you can get yourself a very high value quarterback next year if they do suck. Dixie Normus, a rare Panther video not about players that are not on the team. Let's go. Did I do something wrong? I don't know. Avery Webb, I'm very excited to see if JC Horn could pick up where he left off. What did he play last year? What he did play last year, when he did play last year, is impressive. No one's on the grammar train right now, and that's okay. Yeah, I think I think JC Horn, and I think Dante Jackson. I have very high hopes for Keith Taylor. I think that guy, admittedly, when he was drafted 2 years ago, I was just kind of like, okay, I just kind of kept going. But he really surprised me during last season when he was coming in for an injured JC Horn and then eventually at Dante Jackson. I think those guys, and hopefully CJ Henderson as well, now that he's changed his number, I think the DB room could surprise some people. Absolutely. And they're going to be tested, that's for sure, against a Tom Brady. You got Jameis Winston, who always likes to whip it. And then what could be, I think most likely, is going to be a rookie-led Atlanta Falcons, because I don't know if Marcus Mariota could do it. Maybe in the first couple weeks. It's kind of like in the Carolina Panthers situation right now. R. Dan Jr., another regular one of the first subscribers of this channel. I would like to see a breakthrough on the D-line. Derek Brown, Yatir Gross-Matos have to provide pressure without having our linebackers to blitz. I need to see more out of Chin because getting beat deep with bums is not just on our corners. His leadership and adjustment have to improve this year. And last on the offense, a DJ Moore to be like Jamar Chase. He needs to start scoring and taking games over enough that he doesn't have a QB. He doesn't have a QB, and you say what you want about the stats. I mean, he's churning out like 1,000-yard seasons every single year, despite having a different quarterback each one of those years. So I think that, yes, I understand that he's not necessarily a physical presence like Jamar Chase, who you can see he just bullies guys out of the way, and he's kind of like a DJ Moore, but maybe a little bit more jacked up with yards after catch. He just seems to be able to find that extra gear, an extra bit of push, like a creatine push to push defenders off him so that he can just break away and just find that extra gear to separate himself and turn this, like a 15-yard pass play into a 70-yard scoring play. So absolutely, I think every wide receiver could be like Jamar Chase. But yeah, I'm looking at Yatir Gross-Matos and Derek Brown for a big jump out of them. They're guys that they're part of that all defensive draft. And so I hope that after this long amount of time, especially unlike the offensive players, they've had Phil Snow now for a couple years. So I hope they're more comfortable with the system. And, you got Jeremy Chin, who's not Jeremy Chin. You got Brian Burns is improving as well. So, a lot of offensive linemen teeing off on him. And so I really hope guys like Derek Brown, Yatir Gross-Matos, more so Derek Brown, hopefully they have a big year. I would like for them to have a big year because he got some heat a little bit last year when Coach Rhule, of all people, arguably seems like one of the most forgiving guys on the team, benched him. But since then, he did play better. So hopefully Derek Brown could rebound as if he had a crap year last year. But, I also hope that both those guys have big years because one of them could be a trade piece, depending on how good they play. Jeremy Chin, yeah. What's up, Dad? What's up with I'm calling this first Foreman with our O-line will wreak havoc. You heard it here first. Yes, I am a big fan of Deontay Foreman. I'm a big fan of him, the partnership with Christian McCaffrey and Chuba Hubbard. I think that's a great, powerful, running back room right now. Christian McCaffrey's the smallest guy on the team, but he's definitely not the slightest. He's a big dude. But you got two other guys. You got Chuba Hubbard, who's 6 feet plus, and you got Deontay Foreman, 6 feet plus, and then Chuba, it looks like, at least according to the social media videos, is working on his footwork, working on his agility, change of direction, because he is more of a straight-ahead home run hitter, where you got Deontay Foreman, who's also a straight-ahead, but power back, kind of like a Derrick Henry light, which he was with Tennessee last year. I think, if that's what they want to do is run downhill and focus on the run and, be a downhill bully type team, I think this is the right running back room to do that. Obviously, sprinkle in some Christian McCaffrey, off tackle plays, screens, have him out there in the flat, have him out there as a wide receiver slot. I think they could be dangerous. And I also think all of that could play in favor of a Matt Corral in a system with Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss. All right. Custom Precision Solutions. Great video. This will be the last one. Great video. Not to be a negative Nancy, but I'm very curious about your opinion on this. At what record inflection point does Matt keep his job or lose? For example, if we're 8-9, 3 wins more in the last 2 years, does Tepper keep him? Or is it more like if we lose 3 games or so games in a row? Sometimes I think Rhule is on a zero tolerance allowance. Oh, I like that term. Sometimes I think Tepper will stay allegiant to him. What are your thoughts? I think if they make the playoffs, I think he stays. Honestly, I think it's not just the record. It's, are you embarrassing the owner? Because that's what we were seeing, that word a lot from last year, that Tepper was embarrassed about how the team has been. It's been 5-win seasons since he's been an owner. And, well, since Matt Rhule has been the head coach of the Panthers. And so in his 3rd year, which everyone's saying, that's the year things happen. And it really is the quarterback that's holding him back. And if they get Matt Rhule, a proven quarterback, say what you want about their situations, whether it's Jimmy or Baker, because they will buy you less time than a rookie. Because Matt Corral shows promise, but he obviously shows those normal rookie mistakes. If he were to become the starter, that's another excuse. But, and it seems like it's still in the works, you bring in a Jimmy or Baker, and you're still on pace for 5 wins or 6, hell, maybe 4, then I think Matt Rhule's gone. But if you improve by 3 games and you make the playoffs in a watered-down NFC, in an NFC South that's kind of quiet right now, I could see Tepper keeping Rhule in place, 100%. I see that. But if he drops a couple games and he has a Jimmy, I think he's gone. But if he has a Matt Corral, again, it goes back to how bad are those losses. If those 3 losses and you have a rookie quarterback who's showing promise and he just made rookie mistakes, that's not on Matt Rhule. Maybe he stays. But if there are blowouts, and again, embarrassing blowouts, and David Tepper saying, or we're hearing through the grapevines, through reports, beat reporters on the ground there in Charlotte, if he continues to be embarrassed, then maybe Matt Rhule's out, eats that humble pie, and then goes reach out and get an offensive-minded head coach a la Eric Bieniemy. Maybe save some face there. But yeah, I think it all depends on who the quarterback is and how bad the losses are. All right, that's it for Panthers Post. We'll be back next Friday unless something else happens a la Jimmy G or Baker Mayfield or some other kind of crazy trades happen. And then, of course, boom, there'll be an instant reaction video. I appreciate you guys. Make sure to like, subscribe, spread the word.